Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Divine Awakenings episode. This is now episode 14, and I'm so excited to be joined with a soul sister, a friend, and just an amazing person all around. She's really helped me in really being a beautiful mirror for me to see my blind spots and highlights things in a way that is done so lovingly, and that is what true friendship is, according to me, because there's friends that just don't want to say things because they're scared of like hurting your feelings, but actually that's from a deeper wound, really. And I value friends that can really like highlight to me what is going to benefit me for my growth, because that's what I'm here for, and that's what my soul's here for. So I'm always championing this sister for the work that she does. She is a leader in her own right, with working with the moon and the cycles of the moon, and she weaves that in with her coaching, with her clients, with her workshops. She's an intuitive coach, a practitioner, and yeah, really leading the way for those who are really looking at going deeper and understanding the moon cycles and what that means for them. And she's an author as well, which is really exciting. New ventures are coming up with programs and getting out there for more people. So Desiree, thank you so much for coming on my channel and sharing your journey. And just before we get started, I really want to just ask, and this is what I'm going to start asking all of my friends and those who come on, is what is your connection to, whether you call it the divine, God, creator, source, what is your connection, your relationship to that infinite aspect that, we all want to have a touch of or experience of?
My connection with the divine. Yes, so I am aware how limited is our vocabulary to explain with our words how like this connection is. And this is something that I learned very early in my journey, like how to put into words something that is beyond our understanding, even because our consciousness or our mind is so limited. So my connection is through my body and my feelings, and it's actually also with the vibration that I hear from people and the sounds around me and my own voice. So when I sit in nature, for example, my connection is like with that experience that I have while being present within me. And I hope that makes sense.
Well, it absolutely makes sense to me, and those who are watching this, I'm sure, will definitely resonate with that. And so, there's so many different names that we can connect with this part of us that you can call it the divine. So do you refer to it as God or creator or source? Do you name that feeling that you get, or that connection you have with this oneness, whether it's through nature, within yourself, or through your voice? Do you name it?
I don't name it. Like, I am aware that I have to, to speak about it, we have to give it a name so we understand, like, inside our capacity, like what it is that we're talking about. But I don't name it. I'm just tapping into it. For me, it's more about, I don't call, like, God, or I don't pray to anything in particular. I'm just open, and it's a way of connecting within me. Like when I'm present and I open, then that allows the energy. But it's more, we always connected. That's the thing. Like we always connected, whatever we are aware of it or not.
Yeah, and I think what you're highlighting to me, or what I'm hearing, is you are really aware of like there is no separation. And so when we are labeling, whatever this is, whether it's God, creator, source, whatever that fits for whoever has that connection, there's a sense of that separation when we do that, when we're all of it. And so that's kind of what I'm hearing. And that's the point where we all really I probably aspire to get to, where we just know that it is all of us, that oneness. And I know for me, certainly, I've really wanted to connect in with having a tangible experience of this oneness. I know I like to use the word God, and I think that's probably because as a child, I was like, no, I don't believe in God. I just pushed it away. And now I've kind of got this knowing that God is real. So, and that we all connect with it and you know, have different names or experiences. So that's beautiful. And so this obviously connection and this wisdom that you just have within you, has that always been there? Like, talk us about, like, from a child, was you connected back then?
Yes. So when I think my first memory started to be in the womb of my mother. And obviously, until I wasn't 4, I couldn't really understand that what I could see, feel, and sense were not seen, feel, and sensed by other people, or in my case, other children. And yeah, and so I started to question myself. Yeah, many questions
So that
about
was at the age of 4, you were having these questions.
yes, at the age of 4, I was talking with the energy that is surrounded all of us and is infinite, is beyond our capacities to understand how many levels they are, if they can be called labels. And it was overwhelming at times because I feel like I couldn't really share that with someone that will receive me and understand what I was talking about. So yeah, that's why I learned how to communicate with the whole. And then when I have questions, I tap into the question, or I have a sense because my soul already knows, but my mind or my consciousness wants to put into words that knowledge. So I ask, can you give me signs? And the signs and the confirmations of what I already know or feeling comes in, like, through a book, through songs, or someone that I meet on the street and suddenly they talk about something and that's connected with my own question, and then I have the confirmation. Or if I have a doubt, like, how is that? Then I receive something that completes my questions or gets, like, rid of my doubt. So it's a beautiful thing to do. I encourage people to practice their own language with everything that is, because it's not just the feather or the animal, or it's, of course, it's that's the way that nature, Mother Earth, has to communicate with us, but it's more. You can go deeper.
Yeah, beautiful. And I think, you know, we have to, what's your thoughts on around, you know, we have to ask to be able to receive, whether this comes in forms of signs or symbols or whatever that may be for you. Do you agree, like, or will it just happen to you?
I think that's everyone's journey, because we always know, but we learn how to doubt ourselves, how to not, that self-esteem, that inner knowing. We learn how to doubt ourselves and our knowledge. So we always need kind of confirmation, either by chatting with someone or asking. And of course, it's good to ask. I'm not saying that it's not. I practice that a lot, but the answers that I'm receiving more and more is like, you don't need the validation from external sources. You already have it within you. So this is my personal journey. Like, it's good to be accompanied and support by the world that is unseen. It's very beautiful experience, but the world that is unseen just support ourselves in the way that is saying, you already have it, you already know. Yeah.
Yeah, because all the answers are within. So how, for those that maybe even are new and opening up, because there's many people waking up right now and questioning the narrative, questioning reality,
Mhm.
and they're really tapping into their intuition. Like, how can you trust that inner knowing? Because obviously you've obviously are mastering that or have mastered that, and you're not needing the validation anymore. So how can you truly trust that inner knowing? What does that look like for you, or you can help others with knowing that?
Um, I, I, well, in the point where I am in my journey is that everything has to be practical because can get lost in the subtle, the energies, and people are talking about the fifth dimension or like language or channeling and all of that. And for me, people, you have to ask yourself, especially in these moments that is highly spiritual, like, is that actually improving your life in any sense? Like, or is just a way for you not to look into your life? Because I'm seeing that I have many I'm in the spiritual community, and this is something that I'm seeing out there, and I can recognize myself as well in that. I have a period where I was like into listening to different channelers and reading one book after one book, or and it was beautiful, the knowledge, but the knowledge, if you don't put it into practice, it's just, you cannot, it's not tangible. It doesn't materialize. So to answer your question, is have to be practical. You have to practice that. y- You know, is more. This is my favorite, and maybe it's gonna be my mantra for this year. You have to walk your talk. So it's
Mhm.
like you have all those beliefs about. It's all about like love, and it's something very beautiful. But if you don't practice that every day of your life, what is that belief for?
Mm,
It,
mm,
it's just there. So we have to connect the spiritual with the matter. They are together. It's like the sun and the moon, and that's why we are seeing how the feminine is rising, because we really have to come to integrate these two polarities within us. One doesn't exist without the other. But if we get lost in one, like the other is abandoned. So
mm,
and that's what we see in many spiritual people. Maybe they not have enough money, or they struggle with their relationships, or they have problems with their family, or you name all the problems, health problems. So it's time for us to get that spirituality and practice that in our daily life for us, not for others to see,
mm,
not for people to tell us, to validate us, or how highly spiritual or how high in frequency or in love are you, but in your daily life.
mm. So have you noticed within the spiritual community there is many that are looking the part, talking it, but actually aren't walking it?
Um, in so many areas in our life, and it's all about coming again to the center and to integrate these two polarities and bring coherence between heart, mind, and spirit. And we are here in this mess, to improve that. So there are people who are doing their best, but I'm seeing the spiritual world is more common to praise something and, like, not doing the
Mm,
the other work. And it's have to be in all areas of our life. And that's something that is practice. It's take practice. It's
yeah.
nothing but doing. And this is what we have to understand, that if we don't do it, then
It's like going to the gym, isn't it? You can't build muscle in a day. You have to build it. It takes time. It's the same, it's like that
yeah.
discernment piece. And really like knowing what feels right, because there's a lot of distortions out there, and it's down to you to feel what's true. And would you say it could be more detrimental to be just over consuming the spiritual books and not applying it, because you're just getting knowledge, more knowledge, more knowledge, and intellectually you're not putting any of it to practice, so it actually can be more detrimental, would you say?
Well, I say yes, it is, because the spiritual ego is the worst of all the egos that are there, because we lie to ourselves. Like we create that image of us like being like meditating. Even like I know people, they are doing yoga, meditation, plant medicine, so you name it, right? But then other areas in their life are completely out of alignment. So it's all about balance, it's about finding that balance between practice and beliefs, and practice what you believe. Or if you read a book and it's an amazing book, like practice what you learn.
Mm.
And yeah, otherwise it's for nothing.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that. And even I've seen it in my lives as well, you know, where it's like I'm feeding myself with the information. It's like, and then I'm not applying it, and then it's like could be the next. It's like, so it's easily done. So it's just being aware of it and going, okay, find what works for you, right, and then master that, practice. Yeah. And so let's go back. So obviously as a child you were very open. Your first recollection was in the womb, which, you know, not many people can say that they remember being in the womb. What was that experience then? You actually remember that? Is it very clear today?
Yeah, it's like I can when you're a child and you're playing underwater and to talk underwater, and you come up to the surface and you ask your friends, what did I say? Like, what did you hear? It was something like that, but in complete darkness. And yeah, and no gravity. Like floating. Yeah, I actually love being in water because of that. But the experience was really, it was joyful. And there were so many things that I didn't understand, and still I don't understand. Like there are things that I kind of know in a soul level, or ancient memory, and still I cannot put that into words to share with other people, because maybe we don't have the words, we don't have the language to describe such things.
Mm. Yeah. And do you remember the point of like taking your first breath when you obviously were born? Do you remember all of that, or just in the womb?
I remember how afraid I was when like my environment started to change. Like suddenly I was kicked out of this cozy, warm place, and it was cold, and I couldn't see, and I could hear very no like so many noises, and yeah, like it was very awkward. But yes, like all my life has been like awkward.
Mm.
Not awkward, but from one shock into another.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, you know, if you're experiencing that, and obviously as we get older, life events, so we those memories go, but all of these children, especially those who are born and with unfortunate circumstances, maybe not having a positive birth, and it's obviously perfect for that soul and that journey, but it can be, this is why it's so important for that nurturing, and that the baby to be close to the mother, right? And I remember my daughter, she just did not want to leave me. Like I could not put her down, because you know you've been so held in the womb, right? And so we just want to be nurtured. And yeah, amazing. And so throughout your, you know, your journey, what has been your, would you say, divine awakening moment? And we might not just have one. Some people just have this huge divine awakening, but obviously you
Mhm.
were already conscious and awake anyway. But we're there, you know, because sometimes we can kind of go off the wrong track, or we get the soul pulls us back. Or is there anything that stands out as your divine awakening?
It's I think everything is divine. Like I think, we tend to idolize experiences and people and gurus and even God or even Jesus Christ. We put it up into a platform, a pedestal, and we look from like below. And so I don't want to call it divine awakening or even awakening. I think it's just an experience, and for me doesn't have the level, it's not what I want to say with that is, for me there is no bad or good. There is no like something that is divine and something that is not, or like an awake, like it's like, yeah, it's sometimes it's confusing for me to address my life experience as such, as divine, because for me everything is divine. Like when I'm being into my hell, and I've been many times, that was divine. Because I'll even dare to say that the lessons that I learned in my own hell have been more important than the ones that I learned through joy and ecstasies and happiness. It's a different level. Because the light cannot be without the darkness, and the darkness cannot be without the light. So my divine awakening, the big, 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 big one, happened when I experienced suicidal depression while pregnant from my daughter. And yeah, I could see all the timelines. I think, I could always have a sense of that, like how it's a massive spider web and every thread is connected to the other thread. But when I got pregnant from my daughter, and inside of me, her father lineage and all his timelines and my timelines started to connect to bring Naira and every single thing that she's like assigned to experience and to do in her life. I was so overwhelmed, and like I started to be on fear so much, because I could see like how every single moment of my life was influencing the ancient past, the present, and the future. And I couldn't face it. I was like, oh, this is too much. And I felt like I was living a lie. Like this is all, it has been, if that's the reality that I quite like, it's not even a reality. It's like if all the timelines are connected and there is no past, present, and future, but it's all happening simultaneously in this right time, my life has been a lie, because I'm not being showing myself or expressing myself as this person that I know that I am. And yeah, it was very deep, 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 deep.
And did you share that, what you were experiencing with anybody, or was that something that you were going through on your own?
I was going through that on my own. Obviously, my family, normally very happy person, and I like to say a lot of jokes and things like that. And I wasn't myself through my pregnancy, because of I feel very responsible, like, and I didn't share it with anyone. Like I have a psychologist, bless him, because I could see, I think seeing the way I see has been my gift and my burden. So here I was, pregnant, depressed, suicidal, talking with someone in front of me who I could see it didn't have the capacity to hold me and what I was going through. So my conversation was they were very superficial. I mean, superficial, but I was explaining, this is how I'm feeling and this is the thought that I have. But I didn't go deeper. I still not honest because I knew he would not understand me. And that was something that I have to do on my own. So it was like massive initiation.
Yeah, I was going to say that because nothing is ever by chance, right? I was going to say, so why do you feel that this particular experience happened in the way it did for you?
Why? Well, I didn't know why until Naira, she was 3.5. And one day I was very worried by something. And she comes to me and she said, Mommy, do you know why I came here? And I said, no, Naira, you tell me. And she said, I chose you as my mom so you could help many other people. If I didn't come through you, you will not be able to help many people. And that's like, oh, my body, the way my body reacts, I was like, that's why I'm being really deep down. Because now I have that knowledge. I have the knowledge of not loving yourself enough to want to carry on with your life. And I can prove to other people that they can overcome any shadows now because I have been doing that, because I did it. And I came out of it stronger, wiser. I love myself in levels that, obviously we're always learning how to love ourselves in other levels. But I was like, now I know who I am. Now I know why I'm here. Now I know why I love in life. Now I know how important it is for me to have this life experience, not as Desiree here in my body with my avatar, but for the whole universe, because we are the universe. And this is an experience, like the universe is experiencing itself through me. So yeah, it was very beautiful.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And we have to go to the depths to come out, the other side, the light. And this is where a lot of way showers, starseed, whatever you want to call these labels, those who are really wanting to be in service and do the will of the divine, if you want to call it that, we have to experience that shadow, this experience, so we can truly help people, not from the intellectual mind. It's got to be an experience. And so was you still in the depression when Naira said that to you, or had you come out of that depression at that point?
Oh no, it was something truly, like, that's what I'm saying, it was an initiation. So when I was pregnant, I was going down, down, down. Like every month, I was more down the hole. Like really, it was like I don't know if I can explain that, but I could see more and more and more every time, and there are so many things that I couldn't understand. And then suddenly, I felt like I was 9 months old, and I was like asking myself, even like, I cannot be like that. Like, I'm gonna be a mother, and I want to be the best that I can for Naira, and I want to be in a very good mental state, because I couldn't, for like all those thoughts, right? Like human thoughts. And then suddenly I find myself giving birth. I have a home birth in my house, assisted by my soul sister Alice. She's the best midwife in the world for me. And I was there and I fall asleep. So I was giving birth for 13 hours. I was, dilating. Yeah. And I left my realm. Like I was up there having a conversation with Naira, welcoming her into life. It was so I traveled through the cosmos to get her and to thank her for, choosing me. And how special was that? And suddenly I woke up and they were taking me out of the pool because I was sleeping. So they wanted, like, she's still relaxing there. Let's get it out. So when I came out of the water, I fell back. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm back. I'm here. I feel the strength. I feel myself coming back into my body, into this life. And then Naira, arrived. And when she opened her eyes and I looked into her eyes, I was like, thank you. So the moment I gave birth to Naira was the moment that I came back from the hell, from my own hell, into this life again, another stage of my life as a mother.
Wow, that's amazing. It was just like, so it was like a shift, like you'd gone to the pits of hell, and then within that moment, was it when you came back from going to the other realm to meet her spirit, you came back, and then you were just more of your true self, would you say? Oh, that's amazing. Like, I mean, I know as a trained doula, the birth portal and that whole experience moving from the maiden to the mother, it's such a huge initiation for all women. But I mean, that's amazing. So thank you for sharing that. And so, Naira is a beautiful soul and she's going to do amazing things in this world. I can tell you that, and you know that. And so, how did that kind of, like, when she said that to you around, you're going to be helping people, how did that kind of set the course for what you're doing today, especially with the moon and etc.?
Yeah, like of course she delivered that message with her own words and her vocabulary, but I understand, like, we always serving each other, and by serving me in this level, sorry, like by, okay, so the more deeper that I go, the more experience that I have, the more that I can embody my truth, and my truth is like the true essence of all of us, yeah? The more that I can marry my duality, the more that I can practice what I believe and what I preach, the more that I'm in service to other people. And being in service to other people is being in service of me. So as you open this beautiful call saying that you're grateful for me being honest to you, like the perception that I have, like, of you, and this is still my perception, is that helps you, is helped me, because as with that understanding that I have is my purpose in this life. Like, the more we get to know ourselves, the more that we all are in harmony, because it's all about geometry and the resonance of that geometry, that sound. So, I want to, if I can't, and it's not that I, feel like, oh, I'm gonna change lives. No. I know you can change your life, and I'm here to deliver that. I'm here to say, to tell you, look, this is your channel. And as painful as it is, that's the key to your freedom. If you keep making yourself blind, you're just gonna carry on living a life that is not yours, and then you're gonna feel bad and you're gonna be asking yourself, why is that happening to me? And many people are like that, experiencing the same lesson over and over and over again. And I'm not talking about one life. I'm talking about is infinite. Yeah. So if now with this given moment that has been gifted to us, we can be brave enough and courage enough to see the shadows, go through them, and embrace them with love, imagine the work that we're doing for all of us as a whole, as the universe and the experience. And I can tell you, like, it's not gonna kill you because I'm here. I am here. You know, nothing is going to kill you. It's like the song, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And that's so truth, you know.
And so would you say that's a big part of why we're here right now, is to really face the shadow and integrate it into and bring it to the light? Or is there another reason why do you think we're here right now?
Oh, that's why things get complicated, because we want to understand, and with all capacities, we can't. It's not just we have the purpose to face our shadows. All of us have like many different purpose, you know. And it's so little. It's maybe to explain, I can refer to the butterfly effect or the ripple effect in the water. It's just one drop and it creates like endless, you know, waves of water in the water. And the butterfly effect is like the butterfly, like what is doing in the other side of the world, and how everything is connected, like the eruption of a volcano with a tsunami, or, you know, now we understand, we're coming to understand that it's not just one drop, it's the whole thing. And that's what we cannot perceive, because we need to be here in this present moment. And yes, you might have the purpose in this life to face your shadows, so you can live more inauthentic, you know, and being more an expression of love, because you love yourself more, so you're capable to be open to love others in such a way that is more respectful, compassionate, you know, out of control, just letting others be. But also your purpose can be something that you do, because with something that you do, you are contributing to the evolution of this world and other worlds, because it's not just one world, you know, there are many. And this is the universe. So maybe something that you're creating, maybe like me, like a book that you write, or a song that you sing, or, you know, that's also part of the creation, because we are creative. So we don't have one purpose. There are many layers of one life. And the beauty of that is that they all connected within you and with every other, even things that cannot see and are out of our reach to see.
Yeah, it's very convoluted, isn't it? And it's very layered. It's not it's yes and this. There's always that extra. There's not just one thing. So yeah, I get that. And so talk to us about your journey with the moon then, and how that all came about, because that is something that you're really passionate about, you're very knowledgeable about, the moon and the shadow side of it, and the astrological events that link to the moon, and so talk to us about how that came into your life and your book as well.
Thank you, Zaira. Wow, so I have to go back again to when I was little. So I was little and I was pretending to be a priestess, like, you know, and I remember like gathering my friends, and it's like making lemon juice and giving them like the juice in a shell. I grew up in the seaside, so in my house full of shells And we were all sipping that, but it was like a ritual and talking to the moon, singing to the moon. And the moon has been always there. And I have a lot of freedom as a child because of the way we were brought up. And I remember walking home in the dark, but I never feel afraid or scared or even alone because the moon was there. And the moon has been my companion since then, like the lights of the moon. I have wrote many poems to the moon. And when I'm being a priestess in previous lives, and I'm being scenes and Qatar, and I have memories of many previous lives, so this is not new for me. But when I was pregnant in this, depression, my only practice was with the moon. That was keep me grounded and rooted and actually help me to stay, was to connect with the moon again and with the feminine aspect of my being. And this feminine aspect was chaos, was dark, was volatile, was, unpredictable. But the moon, like sitting with the moon and with all the faces, I could recognize me. So I could see me through the faces of the moon and reminding me. So the moon was reminding me that I was in a phase that I could maybe, like, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like the moon, like I'm getting full with Naira, but I feel like very little. I feel like I'm going to disappear in this pregnancy, like the moon. And sitting with the moon remind me of myself, like my creative power, my feminine power, if they can be called power. It's natural. And also, like every time the moon was in a sign, in one of the astral the houses, I started to recognize how the archetype was also within me. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Actually, the moon is illuminating the shadow aspect of this archetype. It can be Aries, Taurus, and it was in sync with how I was feeling, like going down. It was like a descending into the underworld. And every aspect of the astral chart was an aspect within me. Like Aries, the ego; Taurus, like the matter, the material; Gemini, how I communicate with others, and you name it, right? So it was really interesting because that was my medicine. Like I would say it didn't save me, it's just remind me that I am who I am. And I am connected with the whole. Yeah, through the 12s. The 12s. And these 12, yeah, it's like a pieces of a puzzle. Like, I wouldn't say that I always knew in here, like maybe out there, but everything came together as I walk my life. And the 12, the number 12 play a big massive role in all of that, because everything is 12. Everything. And so I started to connect all the dots together. I was like, okay, so we have 12 ribs, we have 12 neurological patterns, we have 12 months, and then in mathematics, in music, in art, theology, history, science, like it's all 12. So that 12 for me is is the structure of the universe. And I as I was like, and like maybe not exploring, but revealing the 12 and the wisdom that they contain, I understand more and more. I understood more and more what I was going through and how everything play a massive role together, which brought me to the universe, because I was like, wait a minute, this is not possible. Like, we were talking just 2 days ago about the different levels of consciousness, and I was telling you I do not agree with them. And it's because, yes, there is an Eric, sorry, sometimes I don't speak English. Like, there is different levels.
Mhm.
Ericracy, whatever. So I was like, no, we are the same. Like, we sit in circle, and there is no one above or below. This is not how I'm feeling, until I came to understand that it's not like different levels, like more or less. It's just we, each one of us, and everything has a role. And if you play your role, that means we are in service of the whole, and everything works in harmony. And it's when we came out of that alignment and we try to compare ourselves with others, or we try to do other people, like what other people are doing, because maybe it's worse for them. Yeah. And we lost. We like, what I'm going to do with my life? Maybe I can be a yoga teacher, because this person seems happy. She's been, she's doing well. She is earning money. She looks amazing. So I'm, that's me. And then we try to recreate other people's life, and we come out of alignment, because we all come here with a signature. We all have a code. Everything is coding, right? And within us, we have 13 patterns and codes, a resonance, a frequency, if you want to name it like that, that plays like the whole orchestra, the whole symphony. So if you're not in your path, if you're not embodying those codes, if you're not doing what you're built to do, then you're not in service of the whole. And that's the Ericracy. Say it. For me, like, we are all different. We all different, but we all the same at the same time. And that's the beauty of it. And then I understood it's not about being more or less. It's just about being you.
Yeah, and I keep hearing that word alignment more and more and more. And, for those who are really wanting to be in alignment with who they are, but don't know how, or don't even know if they're out of alignment, how can one recognize I'm out of alignment, and how can one get into alignment?
Okay, so that's two faces of the same coin. And I explain why. Like, sometimes it's necessarily for us to be out of alignment, because it's meaning that, the nature is a massive teacher, and is showing us that we have to change season. And as you grow and you transform, there is that threshold that you find yourself where it's like, oh my gosh, nothing works. I'm not feeling great. Everything is uncertain. And that's because you are transforming, you are evolving, you are about to open the door to a new era of your life. So of course, the all has to die for that. The other side of the coin is when you are not changing phase, when you're not changing season, but you feel out of alignments for so long. That's when your waters, your emotions, your unconsciousness might be like shake or freeze. So you are out of alignment because you're not in the direction that you're meant to be. So life will play different events for you to go to redirect you, you know. For example, you're trying and trying and trying with a relationship and you love him or whatever, but it's not happening. And I'm talking by experience. And life just keep showing you it's not there, you know. And then you suddenly let go with love and compassion. Yeah, you're still loving that person and you probably love them forever. But then you start feeling like, oh, many opportunities are opening. I'm feeling better. You know, I'm growing. It's the same with the job. It's the same with the food that you eat. It's the same with your friendship. It's the same with the way that you treat yourself. It's like we have a joke in Spain. Maybe that joke is very like it's for that moment. There is a man that goes to church and pray, please, Jesus, please let me win the lottery, you know. And every day he goes until one day Jesus speak to him directly and says, yes, I want you to win the lottery, but please buy the ticket. You know, it's the same. Like we want. It's like want, but we don't do. It's like we've been talking about that, right? Like you want a better life, but you're not willing to have discipline. You're not willing to let all I have it. You're not willing to let go the image of the persona you created about yourself. You're not willing to let your victimhood go. You're not willing to take responsibilities. You're willing to stay in the same old story because you're so afraid to step out of that comfort zone and live a better life. So that's the two sides of the coin. So someone who is in the threshold of transformation, please go deep, because there you're gonna find all the gems and all the answers you're waiting for. Like just open to receive in that moment. Is the void, is the most creative period in our whole life, because we are in the feminine, we are in the night, you know, we are in the womb of the mother. And the other is like if life is showing you where to go or not. It's all about resonance. Where you don't resonate, you don't belong.
Yeah, beautiful. And would you say, you know, everything is a choice?
Yes and no. Because there are things that are written. It's a script. The Arabic call them inshallah. Is God will. So there are things that you have to experience or to go through or create because it's meant to be, because that thing again is like waving the whole tapestry of this massive universe, and the ripple effect that is, you know, that action or experiences creating others is also necessary for others, and this is how we serve ourselves. And there are other things that we choose, but it's not choose, it's again, it's do. It's what you do and what you don't do. And if you don't do it in this life, you're gonna do it in the next. And if you don't do it in the next, you probably go back to one timeline to repeat something again. So you do it differently that time. And then that is gonna influence in the coming life. But it's not coming because it's all in the same. I hope you understand me.
Yeah.
So yes, it's not about a choice, it's about doing.
Yeah, beautiful. And, you know, for those that really want to, they know there's more for them, they feel it in their heart, they're asking themselves the question, I know there's more for me to do. Like, what do they need to focus on to help them step into their purpose? Because a lot of people are like, I need to find my purpose, what do I need to do? And you know, people might be really struggling and they can go out of alignment with that. Well, what advice have you got for those people who are struggling to find that?
Well, everyone has a different thing to work on, you know. That's why the advice would be different for all of them. So what I do is recognize where I am right now. It's like you have to be very honest and with yourself, and that's something that not many people, as I said, willing to do. But if you're willing to be honest with yourself, you sit down and go through all the areas in your life. How is my health? How are my finances? How are my relationships? How is the relationship that I have with myself? Like, which thoughts do I tend to repeat? Even the music that you listen to, they all different patterns. If one of the patterns is not healthy for you, or is not what makes you happy or fulfilled, then you have to do something about it. So you go there and ask yourself questions. And the thing is, we know, like, if you want to quit smoking, you know what to do. If you want to lose weight, you know what to do. If you want to have a healthy relationship, you know what to do. If you want to be like, I don't know, more less shy, or you want to be more like hold more self-esteem or be more outgoing, we all can do something about that. And it's about practicing that. Like, the more you do, the more you master, because we learn things that we don't still doing differently, right? Yeah. So if you feel like you don't know your call, or you don't know what you're here to do, maybe ask yourself, like, maybe, you need to focus then in other areas on your life first, because that is all connected and it's all together. One doesn't go without the other. So maybe don't ask yourself, what do I must do? Because it depends. You see, some people, some of us, we validate ourselves, or we feel worthy depending of what we do. But I come to the subject we were talking about previously. Like, we all have a purpose, and that purpose serves the whole. So if my purpose is cleaning toilets, that's a massive thing, for others. Like, imagine how influencing people you are, in which ways. Like, it's not the same to get in a dirty toilet and you go out of that toilet with a funny mood or complaining, than walking in a toilet that is all beautiful, smell glorious, and you have the most amazing pee and you come out happy. So it's actually the perspective that we have of us. If I feel worthy, it doesn't matter if I'm cleaning toilets or I work in a bank, So I think the attitude is everything, and how you look at things is everything.
Yeah, and that quote's just come to me. What is it? The way you change the way you look at things, and the things you look at will change, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
It really is
Yes.
a powerful quote, because it's so true.
It's really true.
Yeah, it really is. And so I just want to ask you as well, that we're going through some, there's some amazing changes that are happening right now. And yes, you can call it awakening, and we're moving into the 5D, as you mentioned before, but it's all, that's just, again, another concept. But we're waking up to more of who we are. We are raising our consciousness, and we're embodying more of our true self. And so, what's your perspective on what the shifts that are happening right now, you know, the so-called Great Awakening that's happening?
Well, I think that's a massive spiritual bypassing, Sarah, because how can we actually be in the awakening when there is a world war, genocide happening? How can we go or ascend to the fifth dimension when there are hundreds of children being I forgot the word, sorry.
Traffic.
Abduced
Mm.
in the war, and they might be experienced like who knows what. So I think that's a massive spiritual bypassing. Also, if you ask yourself questions as, okay, if we are ascending to the fifth dimension, yeah, then we have to change in matter, because it's all about the elements, yeah, like, you know, the periodic table is an actual truth of the different elements that the universe is created. One truth is we are stardust. So being part of that universe and being part of stardust doesn't change actually the matter of this war. In this war, we are learning about duality. And I believe until each one of us do not integrate that duality, we cannot transfigurate. That's the word. And actually, Jesus Christ didn't come to the world, or Buddha or Krishna or any other avatars, Mary Magdalene, or to show us compassion or sacrifice. That's something that the religions have, you know, very happily sell to us. They show us how you can actually transfigurate, you know, because what Jesus realized was a transfiguration. He changed his matter through resurrection. And resurrection is the same as transfiguration. So if we can embody again that duality, this darkness and that light that we all are, there is no person better or worse. It's just different forms of maliciousness, to call it something. We're not gonna go to a different state. And that's not the fifth dimension. Yeah, it can be. So to everyone, I mean, everyone, please, this is my perception, this is my belief. Of course, there are many other people like I respect all of the different versions of truth. That's my truth. That doesn't mean if you believe in the fifth dimension, that's not truth. But I'll say, ask yourself questions like, how can we be more awakening? What I can see is the more that we discover the oceans, meaning our waters, the more that we tap into our subconscious mind. And the more that we can see in the subconscious mind, the more conscious that we bring to ourselves. So what we are experiencing, I believe, is that we're capable of holding our waters or seeing through the subconscious mind. So we are awakening to other levels of consciousness, but it's already here. It's not new. And this is being, if we explore the history, this being there the whole time. And the Indian call them siddhis. So we have 360 siddhis, like teletransportation, like telepathic thought, or channeling, or predicting the future, premonitions, or visions, like astral travels and astral vision. So to name few, audiobodience, clairvoyance, like there are many, many, many senses. They are not awakening, but because we can't understand. I think as soon as the more that we can understand, the more that we're capable of seeing or of see. So that's my setting into the fifth dimension and the gifts and the changes that we are experiencing as humanity.
Yeah, I think it is key. Question everything, right? It really, really is. And yeah, this has been amazing, Desiree. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and your relationship to the moon. And I mean, there's so many other questions I could ask, so I'll have to get you on again because yeah, I've got loads of questions, and yeah, an hour is just not long enough when you've got a lot of wisdom like you have. And so tell everybody where they can find you and the name of your book as well.
The book is gonna be first published in Spanish. Thank you. It's called The Moon Path. And you can find me on my Instagram. And recently I created something very special for me. It's a course of 7 weeks. And each week we're gonna go through one planet that is related to one of the chakras and one of the shadows. So we're gonna go through that for 7 weeks and awaken to our light. And if you are in the light and you cannot see the shadow, it works both ways. So this starts the 13th of October, and I'm very sure it's gonna be transformational. It's something that I led in my Mary Magdalene pilgrimage, and the workshop was fantastic. I saw the difference that people can do with themselves if they have that tool. So I thought I'm gonna bring it more wider for longer because we need the time of integration. So if you want to join me, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I'll put the details in the description as well, so people can work with you and your website and everything. And is there anything you would want to share that feels like it's on your heart that you want to leave people with, whether it's a practical tool or anything that feels you want to share before we wrap up?
Yeah, I said like look at what is painful with another attitude. That's what I advise to people. Like that thing that makes you very uncomfortable and emotional and all the judgments, like look at them deeper with more openness and less reactions, and see the master teacher that you have in front of you.
Yeah, beautiful. And if you need support with that, link in with Desiree. I'll have her details in the description. But thank you, Desiree, and thanks everybody for watching. I hope you feel inspired and have gained some awareness through this conversation today. And yes, please do like, subscribe, and comment if you found this useful. And yes, thanks everybody, and have a blessed day.
Thank you.